Okay. So, Guy, thank you so much for coming to Toonfest today. This is not your first time here.
Right.
How do you feel like being back here in Toonfest?
I absolutely love this place. I was born in 1957, so I'm a Disney kid, and this is where Walt began. This is where all of his dreams began. And so coming here is always one of the highlights of my year.
What got you into cartoons, Guy? Was it Disney? Was it Walt Disney himself? Was it Looney Tunes? What was it that got you into cartooning?
Well, I didn't have a dad, and my mom used to take me with her to work, and she would work at a diner or a hotel, at the front desk, and she would open up the newspaper every day, and there were the comics, and she would give me pieces of paper like the placemats at the diner, and she would say, "Here, draw this," and she would point to all of the comics in the funnies, and so that would be sort of my babysitter all day. And then if we got to go over to my grandmother's house, she had a television, and Walt Disney was on TV. And, Disneyland had just opened up. And, of course, Mickey Mouse and Goofy and all those characters, they meant the world to me. And I was just, I looked at Walt Disney as someone who made the world a nicer place. And so he was a big idol of mine, along with Roy Rogers.
So, what is it about cartooning that is so special to you, Guy? Do you look at this as more as a job? Do you think of this more as a passion when you draw?
I think of it it's certainly a blessing. I have been very, very fortunate in that, it's been 40 years now since I started when I was about 14 getting published. It's been like 40 years now that I've been able to draw and write for folks, and I've done the Muppets and Nancy, and they've gone all around the world, and I feel like it's just the coolest job in the entire world. I'll get to make people smile that I'll never get a chance to meet all around the world. And how could you ever ask for anything cooler?
Would you say sometimes, because people think, oh, cartoonists, they just draw and, that's it. But it takes a lot of time and thought. Like, how much time it's more than just taking a pen and just start drawing, right? It takes more into the thought process and everything.
Writing is the key to all of it. The ideas, we have deadlines, but of course, ideas come and they go on their own. And so when you have the ideas, you have to find the time to sit down whenever it happens to be. Also, you have to every single day be paying attention and watching the whole world around you and writing it all down. And because you have nothing to draw if you have nothing to draw about. And so it's really the writing of it that is the most important part. The drawing you can always do, but the writing is the key. And with Nancy, for instance, I write mostly about what little children like to do. They have, and Nancy and Sluggo, if you read the comic, you'll realize they have fun just being kids doing things that really don't cost any money. Like climbing trees and riding bikes and playing and that kind of stuff. And if they do spend any money, it's like $1 on an ice cream cone. And I think that that's probably the reason that Nancy's been around for 80 years and why she's all around the world is that my writing, I take into consideration that she's seen all around the world, and I try to come up with things that you or anyone that's looking at the comic can identify with as a child.
For any kids who will probably be watching my story next week and they're thinking of being a cartoonist themselves, any advice you can give to them?
Absolutely. Work very, very hard at trying to draw the best that you can. And if there are any lessons anywhere for you to go to, please take those lessons. And remember that cartooning is not just drawing the character, okay, but that the character lives somewhere. Remember, Nancy, she lives in a little neighborhood. Where does Batman live? Batman lives in Gotham City, right? Where does SpongeBob live? In a pineapple under the sea, right? So when you start thinking about drawing it, remember that you might have the whole world right up here, but make sure that you take the time to have it go from here all the way down your arm to your fingertips and then right onto that piece of paper. And the most important thing is have fun and don't ever, ever quit, because as other people may not be able to see your dream because it's your dream. But if you keep at it long enough, that dream of yours someday, everyone will see. Remember, when Walt Disney saw Disneyland, no one else did. And now the whole world has for many, many years. If you try hard at something that you love, that's in your heart, you can make the world a better place. You can be a happy person. You can make the world a happier place. I promise. I did it. You can do it.